Hello, so I'm here to show you how to use this lovely beast, which is called a microscope. Step one, remove the dust cover. So this is to protect the lenses from getting dust on them. Now you take your slide and you place it on the stage. Now you might have noticed that there is a hole in the stage. You want to place the specimen, if you can see it, right over that hole. Of course, we're going to need to plug it in. So we go ahead and find a power source and plug it in. Then we turn the light on in the microscope. Now what this light does is it shines up through that hole in the stage. So our slide is placed on the stage, our light is on. Our microscope should have been put away on low power, the shortest objective lens. If it wasn't, then right now, rotate your nose piece, this is the rotating nose piece, and turn it until you have the shortest objective lens, which is the low power lens. Now, you look into the eyepiece. Now, when you're looking in, you are going to use this large knob right here, which is called the coarse adjustment knob. Now, when you are on low power and you're using the coarse adjustment knob, don't be afraid. You're not gonna hurt this thing. You can just crank this thing all the way up and all the way down until you can see what you're looking at. One good trick, if you can't find anything that you're supposed to be looking at, is to just place your finger on the stage and wiggle that slide a little bit. So that way, if when you turn this thing up and down, if what you want to look at is wiggling, then you are actually looking at the slide. So once you find your specimen, and remember, don't worry about going all the way up, all the way down to find that thing. Your sweet spot is going to actually be kind of close to the top. Now, once you find what you're looking for with the coarse adjustment knob on low power, then you may choose to use the fine adjustment knob until you can get it as perfectly as possible. Now, what you want to do is you want to move your specimen so your specimen is right in the middle of the field of view. The field of view is the name for the circle of light that you look into when you're looking into a microscope. So I have centered my specimen in my field of view. It's right there in the middle. I found it. I sharpened the focus as well as I could. Now I want more power. So I'm going to go to the medium adjustment knob or objective lens. And now I take my coarse adjustment knob, and this time I'm going to move very slowly, because once you've got it focused and low power, you're hardly going to need to move the stage at all from here on out. So at this point, I'm going to go very slowly until I find my perfect. There we go, and it's gorgeous. See, I hardly even moved the stage at all on medium power. Now I'm going to go to my fine adjustment and just fine tune it until I can see exactly what I want to see. Well, that is fantastic, but you know, I need more power. So I'm going to go to the high power objective lens. Click. It always makes this little satisfying click when it goes into there. Now I'm on high power. You might notice that this objective lens is really close to this slide right now. For this reason, and because you hardly need to move the stage at all. You guys do realize that these two knobs, all they do is move the stage up and down, so you're moving the slide into the sweet spot where these lenses are focused. Now, right now, for high power, you barely need to move it at all to really get it into focus. So you don't ever touch the coarse adjustment knob when you are on high power. Don't do it, okay? No, no, no. When you're on high power, the only knob you need to touch is this fine adjustment knob right here. So that is the basics of focusing on a slide using a compound light microscope. Now I want to go into a little bit of the extra stuff, which is, what if I'm looking in here and I've got my light on and the power's on, but it's totally dark in here. Well, there's two reasons that might happen. One reason is maybe your objective lenses are kind of in between lenses, so one of them's not really clicked in. So make sure your objective is clicked in. So that's one thing that can go wrong. Now the other thing that could go wrong is maybe the light's not coming up through the hole. Well, how do you know? I'm going to switch to low power just so I don't hurt anything, and I'm going to remove my slide. Underneath this stage is a plastic wheel with holes of different sizes, and you can spin this wheel. And what it does is it only allows a certain amount of light to go up through the stage. So if you are kind of stuck with no light at all coming through, maybe your holes are not totally clicked in, or you're stuck on a hole that's so small and you just need more light, then you can change it. Now, don't go lifting your microscope upside down. You can just look underneath and then make sure that you line it up with the largest hole to get the most light. Now, let me tell you though, there's some creatures, especially when you're looking in pond water, they don't like a lot of light, like amoeba, so you want to turn the light down. And there's also other things that it requires a lower light to really see it more clearly. So it's always a good idea to just play with this diaphragm here, this little wheel, and just change the light source until you find it to be the best light for what you're observing under the microscope. Now, a couple of other things before I cut this video out. One is that anytime you work on a microscope, you're going to get a paper, or we're going to tell you to draw in your lab notebook, a big circle. This circle represents the field of view that we were looking at in the microscope. Right? So this is called a field of view. And then down here there's two little lines. This is for you to write the total magnification that you were using when you looked and observed this specimen that you drew. So this is the magnification at which this is when you drew it. And then the second line is the name of the organism. If you're looking at a paramecium, you would write paramecium. Now, how do you figure out the magnification? Well, if your drawing is at low power, then you have the low power objective and the eyepiece. The eyepiece is usually 10x. It has a magnification power of 10. The objective, the low power objective, has a magnification of 4. So to determine the total magnification, you multiply. 10 times 4 would be 40x. Now, if you're at medium, and how do you know what these are? Well, on these microscopes, it usually says DIN and then a number. The number is the magnification. So this is DIN 10. So this objective has a magnification of 10. So 10 times 10 is 100. And finally, the largest one has a magnification of 40. So 40 times 10 would be 400. So if your drawing is on low power, then you would write here 400. And then here you'd write what it is you're looking at. One other thing to consider. If I'm looking at something on low power, and what I see is over here, and then I switch it to medium power, it's going to be gone. It won't be there anymore, because medium power is going to take this part right here and expand it. So this will be outside of the field of view when you switch to medium power. So every time you switch power, make sure that whatever you are looking at under the microscope is centered in the field of view, so it's still there when you increase the magnification power. Because every time you increase, it takes a smaller portion. If you guys recall, when we measured this, it was a little over 3 millimeters. The high power was less than 1 millimeter. So less than 1 millimeter, less than 1/3 of this entire field of view gets expanded in high power. All right, so if it lost you a little on that last part, just remember this. Always center what you're looking at in the field of view before you raise the power level. All right, thank you for listening, and feel free to come in and get any help if you need it to room 206. Thank you.